technical difficulties are over. Very good. So we'll just take a seat here for a minute and just talk a little bit about since our last time. So it's been, what, 3 weeks, I think, or so? I'm in trouble getting that done. I think it's been 3
Yeah.
weeks. And you've had a trip to Canada.
Yep.
And a lot of walking with that. Did you have to wear your brace a lot?
Yeah, I always wear my brace when I'm traveling. Just for protection kind of more than anything.
And obviously being out of your schedule and all that, probably didn't have as much opportunity to do anything or
Not
really focus. And that just, I don't know how if we don't routinely get out of our routine, then we never can create a non-routine way. You know what I mean? I think people who travel all the time, for example, they figure out a way to do it
Yeah.
because their routine is to be out of their routine.
So they figure it out,
Yeah,
I
for
did the
people like
bicycle
us.
at the hotel, I think twice,
That's good.
just to kind of loosen it all up, but
Yep.
in addition to the walking that I did,
Yep.
and did a few stretches, but I didn't do a lot.
Yeah. So have you considered possibly, I'm not one to talk here, but have you considered possibly getting one of those stand-up desks like Luke and I have?
Kind of,
And it's just an idea.
because again, I notice that's when it gets stiff, is when I'm sitting, and like this last couple days when I've been intensely doing all that testing,
Mhm.
you don't realize it's been 3 or 4 hours, moved. So yes,
Exactly.
I probably do need something
And
like that.
the way our muscles work when we're sitting is probably one of the worst things for the muscles around the knee. You wouldn't think, but it is because of the way it shortens and lengthens certain muscles in the butt area that then contribute, in the hip area then contribute down into
Yeah, I think that's a valid point.
So
because
it might be a way to, even if you, and again, I'm one to talk because I'm not really very good about paying attention to mine and saying, okay, it's time to stand up, I'll stand up. But it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
And for those of us who have trouble getting up and walking around and taking a break,
Yes.
anyway, it's an idea. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the 8 limbs of yoga, and I think I may have mentioned that in our first session and didn't really want to get into it too deep right then, but there's a little handout here that talks about the 8 limbs of yoga or illustrates them, and then I'm just going to talk briefly about them, and we're going to zero in on one specific one.
Okay.
So, I actually want to bring my little camera. I left it on again, but anyway, so I think we talked about this before, but yoga, so many people think of yoga as being just doing the poses, going to the yoga studio and wearing tights and a halter top and doing the poses. And that is not at all what yoga is about. In fact, yoga is less about probably the poses and more about just absolutely a way of life, a way of living, really. And it touches on the mind, the body, the spirit, the whole being. And so, probably around 200 AD, a man named Patanjali, who was widely considered to be the father of yoga or one of the fathers of yoga, wrote something called the Yoga Sutra. And in there, he called out these 8 limbs of yoga as being what yoga is about. So, the first of the 8 limbs are the yamas, and there are 5 yamas, and they are moral restraints. They are more how we treat people outside of us, how we treat others, okay? And then there's number 2, which is niyamas, and those are more internal. There's 5 of those, and that's how we are within ourselves, okay? And I'll show you some examples of that. Then the 3rd one is asana, and it is a very important part of yoga. But you can actually be a yogi and not do poses. My teacher Mary, when she went on one of her trips to India, she was there for several weeks, and she worked with this woman who was a yogi and was one of the teachers, and she did one pose, and it was this pose right here. That was it. That's all she did. She never did any of the other things. But so anyway, asanas or postures are an important part in the third one. Pranayama, which we've talked a little bit about, and a lot of people think of that as just breathing, but the pranayama truly is about the life force, what runs through us that makes us alive, and that can incorporate energy and the physical body, the energetic body, and so forth. And then the next one is pratyahara, and that is simply when you get to a certain point where you can turn inward and be very introspective, and not turning inward as in, you know, being a hermit or anything like that, but just being able to look inside and see a real view of yourself and develop from within. The next one is dharana, which is concentration, and the idea is that as you work around these 8 limbs, you increase your ability to, for example, turn inward. You increase your ability to concentrate. The next one being dhyana, meditation. You increase your ability to meditate. And then finally, samadhi, or pure bliss. And you know, you can get off into some religious aspects of Hinduism and you know those kinds of things, where you know you hear them talk about nirvana, you know, and the ultimate whatever. But in reality, I mean, that can be how we view what the ultimate is, heaven or nirvana, or you know, whoever you are and whatever your belief system is, that is the ending goal to get to that point. So that just kind of covers very, very briefly the 8 limbs. The one that I want to talk about in particular today is the first yama, and if you look at the second page of this little handout, the 5 yamas. Again, these are how we treat other people, how we are in relationship with other people. So we want to be nonviolent, we want to be truthful, we want to be non-stealing, non-excessive, and non-possessive. And those are more than just, you know, you think of nonviolence and you think that means not shooting somebody or, you know, not hitting somebody, but it's much deeper than that. It goes much, much deeper, and it starts with ourselves. And as we get deeper into yoga, it's a intrinsic thing to become nonviolent towards ourselves mentally. That's where it starts, because we all have those little voices, those little negative, nagging, you're worthless, you're not of value, you're this, you're that, you're too big, you're too small, you're too old, you're too, you know, all those things that are nothing but violence really towards ourselves. And the idea is that until we can learn to be nonviolent with ourselves, we cannot be nonviolent with others. We will have judgment towards others, we will have bad feelings towards others, as long as we have those things towards ourselves. So, it's just a real brief intro into that. There's so much. I'll show you the book about about the yamas and niyamas that I love it. It is just awesome, and it goes into all of these, and it just delves really, really deep. But as we're doing our practice today, and as we go forward, just thinking about that first one, ahimsa, and you know, it comes into play just in our sessions about listening to your body, you know, and if I'm saying, well, let's do down dog, and today your body just absolutely says, you know what, down dog is not for me today, to treat yourself with ahimsa, nonviolence, not forcing something that doesn't feel right for you. So, All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is flexibility. And that to me, I always kind of get confused between agility, flexibility, stability, all those abilities, and you have to kind of really think of what each one of them means. So flexibility is to me, one of the legs of being stable. If you aren't flexible, you cannot be stable. If you're not strong, you cannot be stable. So if you think about, somebody who's old, they haven't done anything for a long, long time. I saw my mother-in-law with this. She got to where, you've seen old people, they just kind of shuffle, and they don't, they're not even moving their ankles at all, which causes them to shuffle, and that is flexibility. And that is also strength, or lack of those things, which then makes them unstable. And what happens? They fall. They fall. And so it happens to us really not, we don't have to be 90 years old for that to happen to us. So we both know that, because we both had our share of falls. So what I want to do is, and then again, I want you to practice ahimsa, but I also want you to, even if you can't do this entire sequence, I want you to watch the parts where you feel like you shouldn't do it. I think actually you can do it, and we'll do it slowly, but if there's something that you feel like you can't do, that's okay. But the idea is that we're going to use one set of poses called sun salutation to show you how in some yoga classes a flow goes of the entire practice. Because we've not actually done a yoga class where we just get in there and start doing stuff, right? So I just want to use this one just as a little snippet of this is how we would do it. And so what we'll do is we'll go through the sun salutation poses very, very slowly. I'll explain each one, and then we'll try to put them all together into one. Okay. And the so this is the sun salutations. These little moves here, these little stick guys, and there are different sun salutations. This is called sun salutation A, and so we'll just do it. Okay. So we'll get to our feet gently. And hopefully I'm just going to quickly check the camera and make sure that we are recording. And we are. That's good. So, beginning at the front of our mat, thinking about all four corners of our feet, the bottoms of our feet, touching the ground, maybe raising our toes up and then placing them down one at a time, gripping with our toes so we're engaging our pada bandha. And then thinking about pulling up the pelvic floor internally, which engages our mula bandha. And then thinking a little bit further about just pulling in just a little bit, standing nice and tall so we have some space in here, and just engages our core a little bit, and that is our uddiyana bandha. So these are all our bandhas, body locks that help us be stable and increase the strength in our core. So we're going to stand here with our hands in prayer position, and this position is called Tadasana, or mountain pose. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead. That's extended mountain, or Utthita Tadasana. And then we're going to slightly bend our knees. And we are going to hinge at the hip as we fold forward on an exhale, reaching toward the ground. Head's relaxed, shoulders are relaxed. As we inhale, we're just going to straighten our arms and come into a flat back. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back, long spine. I'm gonna step back from here into plank. So just nice and slow. Very nice and slow. Then bring our weight forward so that our wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked. And then try to lower ourselves to the ground. That's all right. That's good. And then we're going to inhale into a cobra. And a cobra, I'll show you what it looks like. We raise our hands up a little bit and we use our core to bring our body up. Our feet are on the ground. Then curling our toes under. This may be a little tricky for you, for me, but you can try it. Curling our toes under, we're going to use our core, arms and shoulders, and push up into a down dog. Good. Very good, very good. Just staying right here for just a minute. And looking towards the front of the mat. Just walk slowly up to meet our hands. And go back into our forward fold, Uttanasana. And on an inhale, sweep our arms back up overhead. Exhale. You did great. How was that?
Not bad.
Good. So it's a short sequence, so it's not really hard to learn to do this. And if you felt like doing it at home, it would be great. I've told some of the other ones that do yoga with me fairly regularly, if all you ever did was sun salutation, and you did that several times a day, that would be like, you would not believe what you'll get out of that.
Okay.
A whole lot. So, again, there's a lot of movement here. We want to get it to where we're just, you don't have to do it fast, but you want to continue kind of with the flow, if that makes any sense. Even if that's an energetic flow, even if you're stopping and staying in the pose, it's an energetic flow of this is from A to Z is the entire sequence.
Okay.
Okay, so again, Tadasana with hands at heart center. Just focusing on having all our bandhas. And then inhale, arms up overhead. Maybe taking a slight little back bend here. And on the exhale, slightly bending our knees, hip hinging as we reach toward the ground. This is Uttanasana, or forward fold. And as we inhale, we come into a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Then we're going to step back into our plank. Bring our weight forward so we're stacked before we lower. Over to the ground. Inhale into cobra. And exhale as we press into down dog. And then look towards the front of the mat and walk to meet our hands. Staying in our forward fold. On an inhale, bring our arms up overhead. And hands heart center. Awesome. Okay, you did great. That's great. Very good. All right. We'll go back down to the ground here. Do you have any questions about that?
No, actually, that helped me know how to put it all together, because that was where I was a little.
Well, I am telling you what, that will create, just again, those poses will create a lot of flexibility. Really will, so.
Was able to even do the plank where.
I know, it's so good, and the, just one thing about the plank, you know, where I'm saying bring your weight forward. You want your wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked before you lower yourself. That protects all those joint areas. If you try to do it while your weight is, you know, your arms are out, at least for me, it's a recipe for disaster in the shoulder. It causes a lot of pain there for me, so stacking is important, so. So while we are down here on the floor, I want to just do a few cat-cows and some child poses, and I got you some inhales there. So if you want to go to all fours and give those a try, and you may or may not like them, but I think they're kind of cool. The only thing I don't like about them is when you're transitioning from standing to kneeling and so forth, and you have to, you know, kind of reposition those things. But hey, I think it actually feels pretty good to have those. So being sure again that we're stacked, our wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked, and our knees and hips are stacked. So from here, we're going to inhale as we raise our heads up, and our tailbone goes up toward the ceiling, and our belly's down toward the floor. And then we exhale and arch the back. The tailbone is leading down to the ground. Head is pointing down to the ground, and our backs are arched up like a cat. And inhaling again into cow. Really getting that stretch, especially in the front of the body. And exhaling into cat. Again, inhaling into cow. And exhaling into cat. And then just coming to a flat back. Let's just go back into child's pose. Just sink back. You can either do extended child's pose, which is with your arms reaching out. Or you can put your arms to the sides and your forehead can go to the ground. Whatever feels doable. Do you feel like you need a blanket rolled up between your thighs and your?
No, I think that's okay. It's gotten tight, so it's not, my left
Right,
knee
right.
isn't going as low as it looks. I think it's good.
Okay. Just reaching out here. And reaching far enough where you can feel the stretch in your back and sides. And then just coming up to all fours again and going to a seated position. So what do you think about those?
I like those, because I've been just doing a blanket, but it's not my push. That really works.
Yeah.
More push.
I like those a lot. So, I have a handout for nutrition, and I forgot to print it out. So I will print it and give it to you in a little bit.
I can tell that I'm unable to stretch further. And even doing the behind my back, I can tell a difference in that.
The behind your back. you
Just
mean
with my-
for reaching up.
Reaching up
The
towards my shoulder blades, yeah.
I'm having a brain thing. Yes, I understand. When we did the range of motion testing.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
that's
a little bit of difference.
Good, good. That's,
Even when we're doing, I noticed you've got that down here. Some of these that I actually do a lot of those every night. Recline twist has gotten a lot better.
Good.
A lot better.
We will get to those in just a little bit. wanted to talk again a little bit about nutrition, and I wish I did have my handout, but I'll give it to you later, as I said. And I just want to draw a distinction between nutrition and nourishment. And this is just something I was actually, don't listen to this, Mary, preparing for a presentation in my training next month, and it's about yoga and nutrition. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, there's more to nutrition than just counting calories and protein grams and all that. There's something deeper involved, in my opinion, in nourishing the body. And it to me involves all the senses. It's not just, I'm going to eat one cracker, tablespoon of tuna, and 3 carrot sticks, count, yay for me. Nourishment, on the other hand, is the entire experience. It's an experience of nutrition. And as I said, using all the senses, really thinking about good quality, natural, organic ingredients, and going mindfully to choose those, rather than a can of beans, getting fresh beans, those kinds of things. As we prepare it, doing it in such a way that we're happy to do it, that we're happy to be able to, put together this maybe very simple but nourishing meal. This is something that I've done for years and years and years. Even when I was a single mom with my boys at home, I insisted we always eat off of stoneware or china, that we always used glass to drink out of, and we always used cloth napkins. It just didn't matter to me that I would have to wash those napkins. It was just, it was a part of a good, nourishing meal. So just even the presentation of it, even if it's just you eating alone, and when they would be at their dad's, I would sit at my bar, and I would have my cloth napkin, and all 9 yards. So anyway, just the thought of nourishing our bodies with good ingredients and good company and good whatever, just a little distinction I wanted to make there. So we are going to, we're moving pretty fast today, and I didn't actually intend for this to last an hour today. Although I'm fine with stopping at any point. I'm fine with trying other poses if you want to, but I wanted to take the last part of our time together today and use this. It's called an evening wind down sequence. Now there are a couple here that I'm not going to do with you on that second line, number 6, the hero pose. I think that would be very stressful on your knees. It's stressful on mine, so I'm careful with that one. And then number 11, pigeon pose. That number 11 is one of my very favorite poses of all, and it is so opening for your hips, and it's a good one to work towards. I can look at some of my books and give you some kind of precursors to that, that would help get you to that point. I think you would really enjoy that as well, and you can get to the point where you can really sink into that and stay for minutes and minutes and minutes. It's very relaxing, but we're gonna leave that one off today. So as you mentioned, you already know much of how to do these. On the number 2 and number 3, I think we're going to use our straps. So have your strap handy. You don't have to, but I think we'll use our straps. But for now, we're going to start with our reclined twist. So going to our backs, take the little clips out of my head, and our knees are up. Feet are up close to our butts, and just kind of get our backs nice and comfortable on the floor. And let's stretch our arms out to the sides and let our knees all towards the weight bench over here. So to your left. Twisting to your left and looking out over your right arm. So you really are getting a nice full twist there.
Yeah, this is one where I can tell a big difference.
And this is just good to just relax in and hang out. I mean, these few poses right here, if you did them, you know, maybe 3 to 5 minutes on each pose, that's a full, you know, that's a full workout. And the longer you stay in them, the more stretched you really become. I think we talked about one time, it takes just a little while for our muscles to relax into a stretch. Otherwise, they just spring right back like a rubber band. So, just breathing here. And of course, in any of these, if you want a prop of any kind, a block or bolster, anything is good. And coming back up to center with our knees. And again, just kind of feeling the ground under our backs. And we're going to let our knees go the opposite direction. Going to the right and looking out over your left arm. Just breathing in that nice deep stretch. And then coming again back to center. And reaching for our strap. Let's take our right leg out to the ground flat. Put our strap over our left, the ball of our left foot. And straighten our leg up. Let's just play with this right here. Let's just see, you know, can we straighten our leg completely out? Can we pull it back towards our head a little bit further to get a deeper stretch if we need to? And again, practicing ahimsa, or non-violence here. So not going too deep, not doing anything that's harmful. Listening to our bodies. And let's take that leg out to the sides. Taking it out to the right. Just being aware of where you're feeling the stretch. Where are you feeling that in your legs and your body? And coming back up to center. And let's try taking it over to the other side. So we're crossing over our bodies, but keeping our legs straight. Seeing how that feels. Completely different feeling to me. And then back up to center. Let's unstrap that foot and take it to the ground. And put the strap on the opposite foot. Again, just playing around a little bit with the straight leg, or if we can straighten our leg out, work towards straightening it. Finding a good position to get a deep stretch without any injury. And let's take that out to the side. Coming back up to center, let's try taking it out over to the other side. Back up. Let's take that foot and place both legs out in front of us on the ground. Stretch out for just a minute, and then let's bend our left leg back up. Foot on the ground. Arms out to the sides. And let's take that bent knee out to the right, folding it over our body. So going back into a twist, just a one-legged twist this time. You can even reach up with your opposite arm and kind of grab hold of your leg and see if you can pull it over a little bit. And then releasing that, straightening that leg out, bringing the other one up, and crossing that bent knee over into a twist. Coming back to center and coming back up to seated. We're going to go onto hands and knees and then just go to child's pose. And I actually, were it me, I would not have sequenced them this way, but that was how this sequence was already done, so just following along. Just relaxing here in child's pose, Balasana for a minute. Just breathing. Coming back to our hands and knees. And instead of sitting back on our heels like this one shows, is this doable for you to just kneel? Okay. So we'll just do these two next arm poses from this position. Okay, so the first one is called Eagle Arms, Garudasana, and so take one elbow over the other, and then
won't do it.
Wrap around. And then you just kind of keep everything at a 90-degree angle there, as much as is possible with it being twisted. And you just can feel, or at least I can feel, the stretching across the upper shoulders. Actually feels really, really good. And then releasing that and going opposite. Elbow, it doesn't want to do it, huh?
That's the one with the frozen shoulder.
Not on that
that-
side, that's okay.
That's the side that won't do it.
That's good right there. You're doing what you can do. And this may be something that can help, pull that freeze out a little bit. Releasing that, and the next one is, what do they call it? Reverse prayer, yes. Reverse prayer is, again, you can just clasp here if that's easier. You don't have to go into full crazy pose there.
I can put my hands together, but not upward.
That's okay, that's a step, right? That is a step, so that's good. And again, it's amazing how when you get it to a place that's comfortable, that's not too stressful, that you can feel, just close your eyes for a minute and where do you feel that? Where do you feel the stretch? Let's not feel the pain. Okay, let's release it. And then the last one is going to be our cow face, or Gomukhasana. And this is we're going to reach over with one, you reach towards your hands, right? And you can do this with the strap. In fact, it's helpful with a strap or a towel, because you can kind of tug down and up and play with it a little bit and find a place where it's a little more doable. So you can just get yourself here, and then you pull up a little bit, stretch that lower one, and you pull down a little bit to stretch the top one. So this is a very helpful one with the strap. And then reversing it to the other side. Just walking your way down that strap till you get to a place where you can feel a stretch but not the pain. And our heads nice and relaxed, tensing up, not tensing our shoulders. And gently releasing that. We're gonna push up from all fours into our downward facing dog. I'm gonna come over for just a second and look at your down dog. That's good. Now, can you push? Yes. So,
Up and
now
up.
pushing back, so you're, yes.
Because I was too far forward.
So how does that feel?
It feels like I'm off balance, but
Well, you-
it's less stress on my arms.
Okay, yeah. And it might be giving you a little bit more stretching in the back of your legs, possibly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, try a slight bend in your knee and see where you feel that.
No, it actually feels better.
And that
It's
actually
putting the
is
stretch on the upper part of my leg.
down here?
No.
No? Because usually when you bend your knees there, you'll get it in your.
It's actually doing it above my knees. Stretch is more above my knees.
Okay.
But they're real tight right now.
Yeah. Okay. So, down dog, just thinking about pressing back a little bit.
Oh, now I bend them more, now it's down there.
That's because actually, that's pretty impressive that you can get your heels so close to the ground and still bend. I don't think I can. That's a little bit hard to do. So, We don't wanna stay here too long, because we don't wanna
No.
stress your wrist, but.
No, that's actually about all I can do. Sorry.
That's okay. So, from here, now this may be one that you don't feel like you can do, and that's okay. But I just wanna explain it to you. So if you were in down dog, and you brought, it doesn't really matter, I'm gonna do it with this side, so I'd take my leg up and then bring it forward, and I have to kinda inch my way up here. So I'm trying to get it really far up here. I'm gonna go down on my back and then.
Yeah,
Okay.
Looks
Let's
fun,
start.
but that's when I can't.
That is also fine. It's called lizard pose, and it really, really
Stretches the front.
stretches in that hip area, so. Okay, and then we're not gonna do pigeon, but I wanna show you what pigeon looks like. Basically have your leg out like this, and then the one behind you are like that.
Wow.
What a stretch in this hip. I'm
Did
telling
you
you.
feel it in the front?
Not so much in there, no.
Really?
And other
There.
people may, but for me, it is this outer hip area where I'm apparently very
Really
tight.
pulling, yeah, I can see where, okay.
And then you can play with this, you can lean forward and lay down over it. And once you get to that pose, I think you'll really like it, but we'll work towards it.
Okay.
Big deal. And then we're gonna go back down to pivots. And, I can't remember, I think we've done the seated forward
Yay, I
fold.
just did that.
You did do that without even thinking.
I did.
That was good.
Yay. That's good.
So, I think we've done this before with the forward fold. This particular one, we're going to take 1 foot up
Mhm.
and just
Yes.
put it here. And then you wanna think about, again, you wanna think about pulling the excess butt out so that your pointy bones are what are touching, okay? And a nice deep inhale so you're nice and tall. And then focusing yourself over that knee.
And you're just straight.
And there's different ways to do it. You can do it out to side. You can
Okay.
do it, but this particular one, we're going kind of out over it. So, you know, again, whatever you wanna go more that way, but you just have to kind of think about what direction you wanna go. For me, I'm gonna try to go this way. This is also a good one for the strap. For some reason, I feel like you get a little more control with the strap, so you can just inhale and then exhale as you fold over that leg. After you're here for a minute or so, you might want to slightly raise up, inhale again, and then fold again. You might find yourself sinking just a little bit further. And again, just like with any of the rest of these poses, being aware, and I think you have really good body awareness. So just being aware of where you're feeling. And then releasing that, and switching to the other side.
I want you. I want you on this one.
Okay, that's fine. And if you'd rather just, you know,
I can, that one just doesn't move in,
yeah,
so.
that's okay.
I hit.
Yeah, just do that. Like I said, these are really ideal. If you could stay in these 4 minutes or so, each one, boy, that would be so awesome for your body. tried this before, is half Lord of the Fishes, Ardha Matsyendrasana. But from this position, there's actually a couple of ways of doing this. You can, I think we'll do it with our straight legs because I think, with a bended knee, you're gonna have more trouble, but anyway. So you would take your left leg, you cross go to your right. And then wrap your arms around and twist towards the back. So you're getting a lot of action in this pose, upper and lower body. How's that feel?
I can feel that.
And then releasing, and I don't know if you'll be able to go the opposite direction. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You're actually twisting more on that side too, it looks like.
Yeah, I think I am.
And gently releasing. And then we're just gonna go back, down on our backs. And you can actually, this is the one that I showed you that you can do against the wall, legs up the wall, but we can do it with the strap as well. So it's pretend legs up the wall. And so we can just go down here and just kind of hold ourselves in place with our strap. Very, very relaxing. It's relaxing, but it gets the blood flowing too, so. Again, if we can stay there for like 20 minutes.
This
that
one
would be
feels
nice.
good.
It is, it just feels so good. It's not at all stressful. The only thing about the wall, the actual wall, is that you can, I mean, you could literally go to sleep with the wall,
Mhm.
you know? Or I could anyways, I could
No,
just.
this is comfy.
You are welcome to stay as long as you want. But all good things must come to an end. So that's the end of our official trial.
Okay.
And first of all, I want to say thank you very much for being
Thank you.
willing to do that. I am happy to continue with you at whatever rate you want to do it. You know, that's all fine. I would like to send you a little, it may not even be a form, it just may be asking you to just give your feedback.
Okay.
If you know, from the perspective, if you were say you were a paying customer, what do you feel like you got out of it? What do you think could be better? And nothing will hurt my feelings, because this is all about, you know, doing the right thing and being able to help people. So yeah, I'll just ask you just to, you know, just put your thoughts down about it and shoot it to me, and that'll give me some good feedback. And Mary is being very, very gracious with her time to give you your feedback, so it's all good. But like I said, if you want to continue, we can definitely do that. I'd love to see you get to the point where you go through a full class and,
Yeah.
you know, just.
I think that would be my goal,
Yeah.
because I can see progress, and that's not with me being as dedicated as I should have been doing it all.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. If you feel like, you know, you just think about it, and, you know, like I said, if you wanna continue, we will, and you just let me know, you know, kind of the cadence. You know, I've got these wretched meetings, now for the next,
I know.
the next 2 weeks, I think it's just Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then after that, I think they go to Monday through Friday.
And next week, I'm leaving Wednesday, and I won't be back until the next Tuesday, so.
You going on vacation?
We'll go see my mom.
Oh, good.
Yeah, flying up there Wednesday, and I'll come back the next Monday night.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
All right,
thank
thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you have a lovely weekend. I'm so glad it's weekend. I can't begin to say.
It's been a rough week.
Yes, it has. I had training this weekend.
Where did you get
I
those?
got those at TJ Maxx.
Seriously?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go have to look, cause that actually is much, much more comfortable for my knees to get down on my knees.
Yeah, I like it.
Cause I have another one of those little like kneeling pads for out in the yard or whatever, but it's not the same type of push.
Mhm. And they're not too thick where you feel like you're
Yeah,
sinking
yeah.
down into it, you know, but,
I like that better than what I'm using at home. Alright,
very good.
awesome. I'm impressed that I was able to go down that time
And
without it.
you just kind of did it without even thinking, and then you went, oh, I did.
I did it. And you know what, I think part of it's I'm afraid to do it.
Absolutely.
I really think I'm just so cautious.